Hi, this video is a quick follow-up to my earlier video, Getting Creative with Pie Format. And I'm just going to go through another paragraph here in which I've experimented with using pie format, but not in your traditional PIE, PIE, PIE structure. In this paragraph, the way that I color-coded was to make my topic sentence pink, and then my first pie is yellow, my second pie is blue, and explanation of both pies together is green. I've also bolded points, left illustrations in regular text, and italicized explanation. So let's go through. My topic sentence is once Rosara arrives at the party, she becomes certain that she was correct, partially because of how kind Senor Ines is to her. Then in my first pie, if you just look ahead at it, I have the point in bold, which is part of the same sentence as the first illustration here. And then I actually in this pie have 3 illustrations. So I'm going to go through, there are 3 examples that I have in here. I'll just add numbers when I get to them just so you can follow. So my point was Senora Ines compliments Rosara as soon as she enters, saying, "How lovely you look today, Rosara," right? So that's my first illustration. And then I'm listing 2 more examples of Senora Ines complimenting her, being kind to her. So she tells her she's the only one allowed in the kitchen because she is more careful than the other more boisterous children. And she compliments Rosara's knowledge of the house when asking her to serve hot dogs, right? So all of these 3 illustrations are showing these compliments. Actually, I might, because these aren't all at the beginning of the party, I might say Senora Ines starts complimenting Rosara as soon as she enters. And now these are all the compliments that she gives her. So I am supporting this part of my topic sentence, right? How kind Senora Ines is to her. Now, none of these required extra explanation, I didn't think, because they are all pretty straightforward examples of Senora Ines being nice. All right, then I have my next point in bold here. Rosara responds to Senora Ines's compliments with pride. And you'll see that this is also a transition because I'm mentioning the compliments that we've just discussed, and now I'm going into how Rosara responds to them. And I believe I also have 3 examples, 3 illustrations here of how she responds with pride. So first, she thinks the request to serve hot dogs proves she is friends with Luciana, saying "see" to the girl with the bow as if she had won their argument. Next illustration. Later, she feels like she has the power of life or death while serving cake. Last illustration here. When her mother comes to get her, Rosara tells her, "I was the best behaved at the party." I'm going to say that all of these, in a pretty straightforward way, show that Rosara is proud in response to what Senora Ines says to her. So I didn't think it needed its own explanation. So what is going to be worth explaining is the connection between these 2 halves. Senora Ines complimenting Rosara, Rosara being proud, and then kind of taking it a step further by talking about the consequences. So like most explanations, I'm going to start with my most specific explanation, and then I'm going to get broader. So this first sentence pretty straightforwardly ties together my 2 pies. With all of her kind words, Senora Ines bolsters Rosara's belief that she is a guest at the party, and not just any guest, but a special one. Now I'm talking about why this is a problem. As a result, Rosara doesn't notice that many of Senora Ines's compliments come along with requests to carry the orange juice, to serve hot dogs, to pass out cake. Senora Ines's intentions hide the harsh reality that she sees Rosara as a maid. Her kindness doesn't change this reality, however, rather it masks it, setting Rosara up for a more profound disappointment later on. Right? So you see how I really couldn't have explained or couldn't have had this analysis after only one of my pies, right? It was really important to me in this paragraph that I establish my two claims first, that Senora Ines is really nice to Rosara, and then second, that she gets really proud. And then I can talk about why that's a problem, right? That Senora Ines is convincing her that she's special, that she's wonderful, that she's a guest. And so Rosara is going to be really disappointed later in the party. Like in the previous paragraph that I talked about in the other video, I don't have an explicit conclusion sentence on here. because the last step of my analysis was a really effective conclusion sentence, actually, because it's talking about how this is setting Rosara up for a more profound disappointment later on. And then that's setting up my next paragraph, which is going to be about how Rosara is really devastated or very, very disappointed at the end of the party. So I'm just going to leave that as my conclusion. All right. Thanks for watching again.